This is Small Biz Florida, the podcast designed and produced specifically for Florida small business owners and entrepreneurs. Small Biz Florida, talk that works for Florida. This podcast is supported by the Florida SBDC Network, providing the tools, strategies, and expertise to help Florida's business community thrive. Visit the Florida SBDC online at www.floridasbdc.org or contact your local office and get started on your path to success today.
This is Small Biz Florida, the podcast and broadcast that's all things business across the state of Florida. And Small Biz Florida is back on the road again. I love taking this podcast on the road. We are at the second annual Small Business Success Summit, which was created and facilitated and put on by the Florida SBDC Network. We've all gathered up down here in Fort Lauderdale at the Westin. Beautiful location right across the street from the beach. I'm surprised anybody can attend a meeting in this facility, in this venue. But yes, we are here and we are talking all things small business. As those of you who tune in on a regular basis, you know that we take this podcast on the road from time to time to make sure that we are gathering as much content and information as we can for small business owners to help them, launch, grow, and succeed. That's what this platform is all about. And we have with us to kick off this summit, we have with us one of those extremely valuable and powerful resources that we use every day as an SBDC center, providing market research for our clients. We have Samantha Fleck, who is the sales director for a company called datasets, formerly known as Info Group. But to us here at the SBDC, what Samantha does that's so important is bring us a tool called Reference USA. Samantha, welcome to Small Biz Florida.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
Yes, ma'am. We appreciate your participation, your support of the summit. And I can't thank you enough for the tool called Reference USA. We literally use that tool every day, Samantha.
That's what I'm hearing, which is great to hear. I've had a lot of positive feedback and, obviously helping you guys in an effort to help small businesses is wonderful.
Well, I'm anxious. I can't wait to talk about the actual tool and what it does, because it is really it's one of those things that I like to honestly brag about. The SBDC is the resources and the tools that we have available that can be shared to SBDC clients. So I'm anxious to talk about it. But let's start, as we always do, Samantha, just a little bit of your background pathway to datasets.
So I guess if we go back as far back as college, I went to the University of Nebraska, Lincoln. So go Huskers, go Big Red. But I kind of got my start actually at a computer applications company that then kind of turned over quite a bit and kind of decided to dip my feet into sales, which eventually led me to Info Group. And then I worked in one of their small business groups for about 9 years.
Wow.
Yeah. And took a kind of a hiatus for a while to work for a market research company, which still, kind of dives into data analytics and that kind of thing. So that really did kind of help me better understand the other side of what we do.
Wow.
Or other applications that we do use our data for at datasets. But then I did a great opportunity came up, and the folks contacted me and said, we want you back. And so I was able to work with some of our larger clients' strategic accounts, and eventually led me to our government team, which are all folks that I've known for quite a few years. And so I'm happy to be a part of the team and, work with all the groups that I've been able to work with now that I'm back. So probably about 14 years with the company. So.
Nice. Mm-hmm. Now, you are in Lauderdale. You are from Lincoln, Nebraska. I'm assuming you let the corporate headquarters know you've got a lot of work here. You'll be here for a month?
Yes. Said there is so much work to be done here. I should probably just take up residency.
Yeah, you probably should just stay here for a while and get an Airbnb. And there's lots of people you could call on in the state of Florida.
Yes, there is.
Right. All right, Samantha. Let's get down to it. I want to talk about Reference USA. Mm-hmm. incredible tool. I've got all kinds of stories where we've been able to provide clients deep information, industry information, demographic information. But talk to us about what is Data Axle and what is this tool that we call Reference USA, and how does it help a small business owner?
Yeah. So basically, to kind of give you an kind of long story short about what it is that we do, how do we get this information? We are one of the, if not the oldest, largest, and most complete compiler of data for both business and households. So we've got a research team that will actually verify every business a handful of times throughout the year via telephone, which is something no other outfit does in this space. So and we use at least 1,000 other sources to gather this data on a regular basis, and then we obviously make it available to the public, to businesses, to the government sector via our different platforms such as RefGov. But it is information that is updated on a weekly basis. And then, which kind of attaches itself to the reason why we rebranded the company from Info Group is Data Axle. Kind of data is always spinning on an axle, moving to real-time data.
Right.
So kind of ever-changing, ever-evolving, which is what our business has done over the 45 plus years that we've been in business, or since inception. So we just try to make, life easier for all of our clients, whether you're a small business or an independent agent, all the way up to your largest Fortune 500 companies and government entities. So
give us just kind of a sampling of the kind of data that I could access as a small business owner through a tool like Reference USA.
Yeah, so you can look up any type of business or industry. So, typically that's done by SIC codes, NAICS codes. So if you want to either know where an area is saturated, or where you want to know where they've had the most growth, where would be a good place to get started, we can help you with that tool to look up particular businesses, or just businesses in general, by geography. If you want, looking up employee size, maybe you want to find people that are just like you, and then sales volume, things like that, to just kind of help give you kind of a snapshot of the best place for you, or where you should be going to see the most growth, what's had the most growth over the years. So you're able to just kind of plug in different parameters that are important to you, and then the tool just spits out basically a report that allows you to kind of analyze and decide what's going to be the best fit.
What about demographic information?
Mm-hmm.
I think Reference USA is one of those tools that we use to do what we call ring reports, where we can locate a business, go out 3 miles, 5 miles, 10 miles, and really be able to provide that very deep demographic information in those rings around a particular business location.
Yeah, absolutely. So you can do things such as like radius search, mapping searches. You can draw a shape. You can, decide how you can go up to 150 miles out if you want to. But it does provide you all sorts of demographic information about that particular area that you're interested in. Even up to like the decision makers there, how long they've been in business, what type of industry are they, how many employees, what's the square footage even. I mean, there's so many things like that. Plus, it'll also show you nearby businesses or like businesses. So if you're looking to see who your competition is, or people that are kind of a clone of a business, you can also take a look at it that way too.
So I think you've just hit on two pretty good points. So I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a small business owner. I'm looking to open up my first location, or maybe a second location of my business. So I can leverage Reference USA in a couple of different ways. Number one, I can identify competition, and I can not just identify them, but I can really get some, engaged information about how long they've been in business, who the decision makers are. Especially if they're publicly traded, then I would probably be able to get some financial information too.
Yep.
Second thing I could do is I could understand the marketplace. So I'm going to be able to drill down and say, what's my average household income? Is this marketplace have enough of my target market living? Are those valid questions that we can answer?
Absolutely. So on the household or the consumer side, you're able to take a look at, if you said, okay, this is where I'm kind of looking at as far as the area that I'm going to build my business or start, you can take a look at the households in that area. You can even look at their buying behavior. So if you want to take a look at and we call it lifestyle characteristics, but
Right.
maybe I'm going to target people that are into, going green, or who are,
Wow.
into animals or into golfing, or,
So
things like that.
lifestyle too. Right.
Lifestyle data is available too. So you're able to kind of see
This
who
is
it is.
psychographic demographics, I think.
Right.
Is right.
Right.
Okay.
So so you can take a look at, or, if you know who your best customer is, or ideally you can also plug those demographics in that you want people in that area, and it will pull up a list of
Right.
everybody in that
So
area
kind
that
of a
fits
reverse
that.
search.
Yeah. Yep.
Put in my target market and then see where they're kind of clustered.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Exactly.
Wow. Now, let's talk about access to this database. I'm assuming anyone can have access, but what is it? A membership model, a subscription model? How would one gain access to the database?
So it is a subscription-based model. RefGov is typically, obviously, the Florida SBDC does have access to that. So usually, small businesses will go to the consultant they're working with and ask for that data, or if they know what they're looking for, they can go there to access it. If they can also access it via public libraries. We do work a lot with the academic space too, and different public and state libraries as well. So there is an option to access it there.
But I guess, again, my point of that question is that the best way to access, reference, RefGov is what you call it. Reference, we call it Reference USA, but
or Reference USA.
RefGov. The best way to access that is really just leverage the SBDC.
Yes, absolutely.
And then
absolutely.
It's no cost.
Exactly.
Now, because I'm assuming there's a subscription cost. It's not free to get RefGov.
Right. But it is the best way is to go through the SBDC, leverage that for, the access that they have to this, powerful tool. And, and I think that it's definitely necessary to have that kind of data, to be armed with that data in order to be successful or kind of get that kickstart.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's so easy for me to appreciate and understand the need for all this. I was a small business owner. I was in one rather large small business. Then I went into a smaller small business. I opened a small restaurant. And when I look back on it now, I just, I located someplace because it was convenient. There was space availability, but I never really considered, am I in the right neighborhood for what I'm doing? I mean, how important is that in today's a little more complex world of small business, that data becomes part of those initial decisions?
It is so important. I mean, and it also, it's saving you time, which is one of our most valuable, assets that we have. But to be able to take a look at the market, do a little market analysis to know where you're going to thrive against other people that are in that space, because there are there's so much competition. So the tool definitely does give you the ability to take a look at any market and know where you're going to have the most success. So it's so important to have the right data and accurate data and recent data.
Right. And what we try to stress too is this is the whole point behind doing that initial research, creating that business plan. Even if it's not, you don't have to write the 40-page, 50-page dissertation anymore, but just creating the most basic of business plan and doing that market research, because again, can, to your point, save you time, but it can save you also money when you actually launch this business. It's a whole lot less expensive to take a few extra weeks, months to do the research, but make sure you're doing all the right things. Is that fair?
That's absolutely fair. Absolutely. You hit the nail on the head.
We had I love telling this story. We had a client who called me one day, a very successful business person, called me and said, "Hey, Tom, I need some help." And of course, my response was, "What do you need our help for? I mean, you could be one of our consultants. You're a successful, savvy business person." And he said, "Well, here's what I'm doing. I am, I'm pursuing some franchises, food franchises." And he said, "They're asking me for demographic information." He goes, "Oh, where do I go? How do I start that?" I said, "We got you covered." So he gave us his 3 locations that he was, proposing to locate these 3 franchises. And we did those ring reports that I called him. And that gentleman flew to California, made his pitch, and got those 3 franchises. And I mean, thanks to Reference USA. I mean, that's how we use that data to help him build his case to get those 3 franchises.
That's fantastic. We're glad to help. I mean, that's why we're here.
Right.
You know, I mean.
But, and again, I think just, and even an existing small business owner, if you look and understand who's in my neighborhood, who's within 5 miles of this business, I mean, it could help you with strategy. You know, maybe I should stay open later because I've got more working, folks in the market. I mean, is that, that's how you maneuver all this data and make strategic decisions?
Yes, it's absolutely important to make those kinds of decisions and know like what's the next best thing for your business, which is why, I mean, you bring up hours, just for example, we will have that information as far as one of our, demographics that's available. But yeah, I think you absolutely have to kind of think bigger picture and, what's going to set you apart and know your audience, know your competition, because that will be the only way to really, be successful in this landscape.
And I guess, in kind of closing, I mean, you obviously work in the field of data, you have, vast experience in data, but really business, no matter big, small, it really is got to be data driven nowadays. You just can't, shooting from the hip and, going from the gut. That still works. You have to be a little savvy. You have to be a little bit of a risk taker, but you also have to be smart about it. And data really can help you make those more informed decisions. Is that fair?
Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely. I think it's necessary. It's key for anybody to be successful.
And with a platform like RefGov, it's not complicated either, right? I mean, you don't have to be a data scientist to make, to gain access and then make some informed decisions based on that data.
No, not at all. We make it very easy. In fact, our tool, I get so often people commenting how easy it is to use. Number one, like it's pretty intuitive, but the information that we provide you is very easy to read because we don't want to make the process any more complicated than it needs to be. So yeah, it's definitely a tool that's fit for just about anybody. You don't have to be, a data scientist to understand it.
It is Samantha Fleck, who is with a company called datasets, formerly Info Group, but we lovingly know you as Reference USA. So now that I've confused all the listeners about who you are, how does one find, RefGov? How would one find the current version of what we use every day?
Well, you can either contact the SBDC, Florida SBDC, and ask them how to, access the program. That's going to be number one. You can always look us up online, datasets. And then it has, just a list of the different programs that we offer and platforms. So you'll be able to access it or at least, learn more about it that way. But
yeah, that way somebody could learn a little bit about it and then maybe go to their SBDC and say, look, I need some data out of that program. Okay.
Absolutely.
Right. It is Samantha Fleck. She serves as the sales director for datasets. Samantha, thank you for your time here at the Small Business Success Summit. Thank you for your support of the summit. I know you're one of the exhibitors here, so we appreciate the support of the summit.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. This has been fantastic.
Absolutely. And this is Small Biz Florida, and we are coming to you from the second annual Florida SBDC Network Small Business Success Summit. And stay tuned because there's a whole lot more to come. We are just getting started here in Fort Lauderdale. This is Small Biz Florida.
This has been Small Biz Florida, created and produced by the Florida Small Business Development Center at Indian River State College. Your host for Small Biz Florida is Tom Kindred. Partners for Small Biz Florida include WPSL and WSTU and Indian River State